Hello soulmates, welcome back to my channel. This is Soul with Pivot. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, turn on your notification bell. Thank you. So let's get sewing. We're going to learn how to make this beautiful dress. To make this, we need half yard of plain crepe and also half yard of lining. Then we need 1 yard of thick chiffon or crepe fabric. Let's get cutting. So for the upper bodice, I folded my fabric in 4 folds. That's where I'm cutting the front and the back at the same time. Mind you, the back piece is 2 inches wider than the front piece because we're going to be using a zipper at the back. The length of this fabric is 10 inches while the width is 9 inches. Unfold. Our neck width measurement for the front piece is 4 inches while the neck depth measurement is 1 inch. So we are going to connect it like this. So from the shoulder side, that's at the end of that fabric, we are going to measure 1 inch like this, and then also measure 1 inch downward. So we just want to have a little armhole kind of, just for fixing our sleeves anyway. So that's the function of what we are doing. So we'll just curve it. We don't want it to be in a square form like that, so we curve it. Our chest measurement is 30 inches divided by 4 is 7.5 inches plus 1.5 inches, we have 9 inches. Waist is 28 inches divided by 4 7 inches plus 1.5 8.5 inches. So we'll connect it like this. So on this waist region, we're going to be coming up by 1/2 inch. We don't want it puffy at that area. So I also do this for an adult wear. So we go ahead and cut. So I went ahead to separate my back and I'm left with the front piece. Now I'll cut out the neckline. After cutting out the neckline, I'll bring back my back piece and then I'll slit open that center back. That's where we'll be fixing our zip. So I'll keep it aside and then I'll bring back my front bodies. This is my front bodies one more time. Now I want to work on that open tummy. So I'll go upwards by 2 inches and then from this other side I will measure 1 inch. So I'm going to connect it like this. Then I'm going to form a little curve like this. You can see it. We don't want it like a rectangle. We want it a bit curvy there. So this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and cut it. So this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and cut my lining piece at the background. I'll just cut it and then I'll show you later. Now to our shoulder strap. The shoulder strap, the width is 2.5 inches while the length is 9 inches, and we have 2 pieces of this. So I'll just open this. You can see we have 2 pieces. So I'll just fold it like this into 2, then we sew and then turn it out. Now let's head over to the cutting of the down part to make up the gown length. Now for this down part, the length of this fabric is 18 inches while the width of this fabric is 62 inches. So we go ahead to run a gather stitch or we pleat. For the ruffle hem, the length is 5 inches while for the width we have double of what we have up. The width is 62 inches and we have 2 pieces of this. So I'll go ahead to join it to form one piece. So we'll put it together like this and then we sew. So after sewing, I'll go ahead and run gather stitch or pleating. Now back to our upper bodies. You can see I already cut out my lining for the upper bodies. So this is what we have. And this is also my strap. You can see I already turned it out. So now I'll bring the lining piece of my front bodies. You can see it. Then I'll bring my strap. So I'm going to place my strap on that neck, just from where the neck is starting from. I'll place it like this. Then I'll bring my main front bodies, place it on it like this, and then I will go ahead and sew. So I'll be sewing the neckline from here. I'll sew up to this point, and then I'll sew my sides from here. So the only place we are leaving open is that armhole. So I'll sew here too. And this is what we have after sewing. So let me turn it out so that you see what it looks like. So this is what we have. Okay, so now we're going to keep our front piece by the side over to the back piece. Now I remember we added a zipper allowance of 2 inches, so I'm going to fold it in. Then from that point I'm going to measure 3.5 inches, and that's where we're going to be fixing our straps on. So I'll go ahead and notch that point. I'll also notch my zipper allowance. So when I open it up, this is what I have. So now this is my main back bodies. So I'll place the strap on it like this, on that notched point, and then I'll place my lining piece on it like this. Then we go ahead and sew the neckline. Then we also sew the sides and also the zipper. Just you sew. So this is what we have after sewing. I already turned it out. So this is what we have. So next we are going to sew up this tummy opening. So I'm going to turn it over like this, and then I will sew. So we sew it from the back and then we turn it. So we're going to be needing a strap to hold it in place, and this is my strap. The width is 3 inches while the length is 7 inches. So we're going to fold it into 2 and sew. So this is the strap we'll be using to hold that our chest line in place. So now this is our front bodies, and then we already turned out our strap. So this is my strap. So I'm going to turn it like where that joining is showing, you can see it, and then I'll place it like this, and then we go ahead and sew. So this is it after sewing. So I'll just trim off that little excess. So I trimmed it off. Then I will gently turn it inside, you can see, so that it will hide. Then we push it to the back, so we arrange it. Now for our sleeve cutting, this is what we have in 4 folds, and then the length of the sleeve is 10 inches. 10 inches, that's including allowance, while the width is 9 inches. Mind you, this is on fold. So I'll go ahead and mark out 1 inch first of all. Now why I'm marking out this 1 inch is because I'm going to be using it to fold in my elastic. So that's my elastic casing. So I'll mark out 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch line, I'll bring in my main bodies. and then use it to cut out that small sleeve opening. So let me bring it. So I'll place it like this, and then I will cut off. Okay, so this is what we have. We are done cutting our sleeves, and this is what we have. So now I'll go ahead and fold in my sleeve casing. I'll fold it in by 1 inch. Now after folding it, I'm going to pass elastic on it. So this is my elastic. I have 2 pieces of this, and it measures 6 inches in length. So this is it after sewing. This is what we have. So I went ahead to hem the bottom of my sleeve. I already hemmed it, you can see it. So now from that hemline, let me turn it over. Okay, now from this hemline, I'm going to be marking out 1 inches. If you look at the style very well, you discover that it has ruffle at that point. So I'm going to be marking out 1 inch up to the end, up to the other end. So I'll do the same thing for both sleeves, and this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out my elastic, and I have 2 pieces of this, and the length of this elastic is 7.5 inches. This is 7.5 inches. So I'm going to sew it on that line we have. So I'll place it like this from one end to the other end. So you can use office pin to hold it in place from one end to the other end, and then you sew on that line. Make sure it's on that line. So this is what we have after sewing. This is what we have. So the next one we're going to do is to attach it to our main bodies. You can see how beautiful the sleeve is looking. So I'll bring it and then place it like this. We'll place it like this, and then we sew. So I'll do so for all the armhole, for all the sleeves. So this is what we have after fixing our sleeve. So the next thing we're going to do, we go ahead and fold it like this, and then we join our sides. We're going to be sewing from the sleeve, so we'll sew on 1 inch allowance. So I'm just trying to arrange it. Then we sew. We're going to be sewing on 1 inch allowance from the sleeve down to the bodies, down to the waistline. And then after sewing, this is what we have. So for the down piece, this is our gathered piece. So now we're going to go ahead and fix in our ruffles here. We already gathered our ruffles as well. So we're going to place it like this, and then we go ahead and sew. We sew to the end, and this is what we have after sewing. You can see we already sewed it. So I turned it. It's like this already. You can see it's already looking beautiful. So now we're going to get our main body. So we're going to be joining it to our upper bodies. So I'm going to be placing it like this, and then when we get to that opening, we'll leave, you can see it, you leave that space, and then you continue so to the end. And then this is what we have after joining. I already joined it, and you can see that opening. You can see how it's looking. This is what we have. So I'm going to finish up that place. Meanwhile, we're supposed to stitch this place. I don't know if I told you earlier. So you make a little stitch at that middle. So now let's finish up the waistline. So I'm going to turn it over to the back. So you can either weave and then fold it once and sew, or you can use a bias strip. But for me, I think I'll be using like a facing. So let me turn it over. So this is it. So for me, I'm going to be using a facing. I'm going to cut out a piece of fabric and then I'll use it to turn that part over. So for me, this is the piece I'm going to be using, and this piece measures about 8 inches in length and then about 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches in width. This is almost 2.5 inches in width. So I'm going to be placing it on that waistline like this. Can you see how I placed it? This is the opening, right? So I'll place it over like this, and then I'll go ahead and sew and then turn it over. So this is it. I went ahead to sew. I even went ahead to top stitch on that facing, and this is what we have. So you can go ahead and give it a nice press so that it can stay in place. So now for us to fix our zip, we're going to join our fabric like this. We'll join our piece like this. Then I'll measure about 13 to 14 inches. So this is 13 inches. So I'll mark it out. From there, I'm going to sew and close up the gown. Then the remaining opening, I'll be fixing in my zipper. And then this is it. I'm done fixing my zipper, and this is what we have. So for the hemline, you can go ahead and weave or you fold and sew. So for me, I went ahead to fold and sew. Then that chest point, I went ahead to give it a little stitch at the center. You can see it's very little. And then this is what we have. Our dress is ready. Please, if you know you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.